So, you're on your shiny new Windows 11 PC, right? You think you're running the most modern, cutting edge OS ever. And you'd be right, mostly. But what if I told you that deep inside all that slick design and AI smarts, there's a secret? A foundation that's actually over 30 years old and has somehow managed to outlast, well, everything. How is that even possible? Yeah, right now, Windows 11 is all about what's next. Microsoft's talking about a new AI era. You've got Copilot built right in. They're calling it the most intelligent Windows PC ever. And it feels new. It feels cutting edge. But to really get what makes it tick, we can't look forward. Nope. We have to go back, way back. And I mean way, way back. Forget AI. Forget the internet as we know it today. Definitely forget those sleek, thin laptops. We are rewinding the clock to the late 1980s. You know, a time of big, beige, boxy computers and a totally different digital universe. This is where the story of your modern PC really begins. So back in the late 80s, Microsoft was looking over its shoulder. They saw this threat, right? These super powerful computers, workstations, were all running an operating system called Unix. And Microsoft, they had nothing that could compete in that high-end professional space. So they kick off a new project. And they do something pretty bold. They hire this star architect, a guy named Dave Cutler, and they poach him from a rival company. His mission was simple: build a brand new, super powerful OS from the ground up. But then the plan kind of changed. After Windows 3.0 became this massive success, the project pivoted and got a new name, Windows NT. It finally saw the light of day in 1993. And that name, it says it all, really. NT. It stood for New Technology. And believe me, this wasn't just some marketing slogan. See, unlike the regular versions of Windows that you and I might have used back then, which were all built on top of old MS-DOS, NT was a complete rewrite from scratch. It was a 32-bit operating system, which just means it could handle way more information at once. It was designed for a professional world that absolutely demanded power, security, and stability. Now, Dave Cutler and his team weren't just trying to build a better Windows. No, their ambition was way bigger. They wanted to build an operating system that could last for decades. And to do that, they had this blueprint, this master plan, built on 3 core ideas that were, for the time, absolutely revolutionary. And this blueprint was just incredibly forward-thinking. Okay, first up, portability. They designed NT so it could run on all sorts of different computer chips, not just the standard Intel ones. Super flexible. Second, reliability. Now, if you used Windows back in the day, you definitely remember this. One bad program could crash your entire computer. Blue screen of death, anyone? NT was built to wall off its core, its kernel, so a single crashing app couldn't bring the whole house down. And third, personality. This one's cool. It was built with these subsystems that could run software from other operating systems. This made it way easier for businesses to make the switch without throwing out all their old programs. So the tech was brilliant. The vision was incredible. But when Windows NT 3.1 actually launched in 1993, the world, well, let's just say it wasn't quite ready for what Microsoft had built. And you can see the disconnect right here. On one hand, the promise was this super-powered, super stable OS for big businesses and their fancy workstations. But the reality for most people, on the computers they actually had, it was painfully slow. I mean, crawl to a halt slow. Plus, there was almost no 32-bit software out there yet to even take advantage of all that power. And it had one absolutely massive hardware requirement that was a total deal breaker. 12 megabytes of RAM. That was the minimum. Now, that sounds like nothing today, right? Your phone has gigabytes. But in 1993, most brand new PCs were shipping with just 4 megabytes. Getting that extra RAM was crazy expensive. It put NT completely out of reach for pretty much everyone except huge corporations with really deep pockets. Yeah, this review from back in the day just sums it up perfectly. Windows NT, a robust server but a poor OS. People could see the technology was solid, especially for running servers in a back room somewhere. But on a regular desktop computer, it was a huge disappointment. And the sales numbers showed it. Only about 300,000 copies were sold in its first year. By pretty much any measure, it was a flop. Okay, so if it was this slow, expensive flop, why are we even talking about it? Because that powerful, clunky, 30-year-old operating system, it never actually went away. It was just waiting in the wings, ready for its moment. And that brings us right back to today. What on earth does any of this history have to do with the computer that you're using right now? The answer is, well, it's everything. And here it is, the big aha moment. That core of Windows NT, its central engine, what we call the kernel, is the very same kernel, just evolved over 3 decades, that is running your Windows 11 machine right this second. Think about that. Every major version of Windows for more than 20 years has been built on that new technology from 1993. Remember those 3 core goals from that original blueprint? Well, they are the very reason your PC works the way it does today. That obsession with reliability? That's what keeps your modern Windows stable and protects it from crashing apps and malware. That goal of portability. That's why Windows can run on literally everything, from massive gaming desktops to those super light Surface Pro tablets with totally different chips inside. And that idea of personality? That's the secret sauce behind the incredible software compatibility that Windows is famous for, letting you run millions of different programs. You're looking at the family tree. Every single one of these, Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 10, all the way to 11, they all share the exact same DNA. It is an unbroken chain of development that stretches back 30 years, all standing on that foundation they built back in the early 90s. Eventually, the hardware got faster, the software caught up, and the world was finally ready for NT's vision. So the next time you boot up your PC, just take a second to remember the hidden history humming away inside. It's a system that was designed for a totally different world, but with a vision so powerful that it became the bedrock for the digital life we all live today. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought, right? This foundation has lasted for over 30 years. But as we step into this new world of AI computing, what's going to power the next 30?